The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Coming up in CVM News at 7. Attempted arson at Parliament. Health Minister hospitalized. And we'll also have our Sunday legal feature, Query This. While in sports, West Indies win World Cup opener versus Papua New Guinea. Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition. It's Sunday, June 2, 2024. I'm TK Dawkins. Thanks so much for joining us. Police are investigating an attempted arson at Gordon House, the seat of Jamaica's parliament in downtown Kingston. The incident occurred on Saturday night. A representative from the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Corporate Communications Network confirmed that the incident took place at approximately 10:28 p.m. According to reports, 2 security officers on duty at the time detected a suspicious odor. Upon investigation, they discovered a minor burn on the front door of the building and a burnt plastic bottle nearby. Fortunately, there were no injuries. Meanwhile, the police have launched an investigation with CCTV footage revealing a lone individual approaching the building and throwing the bottle, igniting it before fleeing north along Duke Street. Despite the fire being extinguished naturally, it caused approximately $80,000 worth of damage. In response, the police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, has directed a comprehensive review and assessment of security arrangements for various scheduled premises. The investigation, led by a senior detective from the Criminal Investigation Branch, the CIB, is ongoing, with the JCF urging anyone with information to come forward to ensure the safety and security of national institutions. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, is currently receiving treatment at a hospital for a broken wrist following a cycling accident on Sunday morning. The incident occurred on Charlemont Avenue in St. Andrew. Dr. Tufton was reportedly cycling when he was struck by a motor vehicle. Sources have confirmed that the vehicle was being driven by a popular dancehall artiste. Thankfully, Dr. Tufton was wearing a helmet at the time of the accident, which likely prevented more serious injuries. He is currently under medical care. Meanwhile, the minister made a post to social media thanking dancehall artiste Valiant for transporting him to the hospital and the team of doctors attending to him. In a significant development for public sector employees, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, has announced the next phase of the comprehensive review of compensation for those in public service. The review follows phase 1, which focused on the salary scale. During this phase, the government committed to a substantial increase in public sector compensation, totaling $200 billion between the 2021 to 22 and the 2024 to 25 fiscal years. Dr. Clark made the disclosure while addressing the Jamaica Civil Service Association's 105th annual general meeting.
We engaged in the only restructuring of compensation in Jamaica's history over the past 3 fiscal years. There is absolutely no precedent anywhere in the world that we can find for a country engaging in a wholesale restructuring of compensation across all arms of government at the same time. Other countries that we have looked at did it teachers first, nurses second, police, civil service, and it takes 10 years. That's how other countries have done it. But because of our own historical experience, where it started previously and then stopped, we had to do it differently.
Also addressing the JCSA's 105th annual general meeting, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reiterated the government's commitment to bolster the country's security infrastructure by making strategic investments to ensure a safer environment for all citizens. The strategic investments include the improved protection of the island's coasts.
Yes, crime is high,
But the fact is we are now reaping the benefit of our investment in security, where we are seeing major crimes going down and murders starting to attenuate. We're not at the point where we want to be, but we're starting to see the results of the investment. I make a quick point as I talk about crime and violence. There are some challenges which will emerge, which we cannot foresee. The challenge with our neighbor, Haiti, next door. When we made the investments in offshore patrol vessels, radars, and other technology to protect our borders, we weren't thinking about Haiti and the possible migration from Haiti. We were thinking about interdicting drugs and guns coming through our exclusive economic zone. But as it has turned out, that investment is paying significant dividend. We are able to detect, we are able to deter, we are able to repatriate very quickly. And that is the benefit and dividends of the investment in security. This crime is high.
And Friday's court ruling in the matter of the Financial Services Commission and Stocks Securities Limited has confirmed that the temporary management by the FSC appointed manager Kenneth Tomlinson, instituted on or around January 17, 2023, ceases immediately, and the process of winding up SSL will continue with Kadion Campbell, the trustee appointed by SSL, in place. In a release, the FSC stated that it will remain actively involved in the process to ensure that the winding up process is conducted transparently and in the best interests of all stakeholders. The court has also stayed all proceedings against SSL. To follow up, court date is scheduled for the 26th of September 2024, where the trustee will present a detailed report and any additional applications will be considered. The Commission is, however, currently reviewing the judgment and assessing the available options, including potential further applications to the court.
The People's National Party is calling on the government to urgently address the implication of today's court ruling, which has removed the Financial Services Commission from its temporary management of SSL and has handed it over to a private sector practitioner who is appointed by the same management group who presided over the insolvency of SSL. We're deeply concerned that the court's decision will have a negative impact on investor confidence both locally and internationally. It is important that any government through its regulator can act quickly where there is fraud in a financial institution to protect the integrity of the entire financial services sector. The government has to make a decision very quickly as to whether it is going to appeal this decision and determine what framework will be put in place to ensure that investor confidence is maintained at a high level.
Now for part two of our report at toxic chemicals being used to ripen fruits. We delve deeper into the issue with a chemical expert. Here's Trisha Gay Kelly with the latest.
Several studies have shown that the health risks and toxicity of calcium carbide can be severe. But how deadly is it really? Professor Shashi Venmuri, senior advisor and chemical expert from the Food Hygiene Bureau of Jamaica, joined us from India.
It is very harmful because it affects the health, the emotions, dizziness, vomitings, all these symptoms. Particularly the workers who are doing it or the consumers, those who eat the fruits regularly, they have these symptoms of vomiting, dizziness, nausea, all these things.
According to Venmuri, contaminated fruits are hard to identify with the naked eye, but consumers can feel the difference.
See, it's actually, if you see in the market, normally it's very difficult to make out. But if you see only the outer pericarp, if you take mango, the outer part will be yellowish. It is turning into ripening color. But if you hold the fruit, it is still hard because inside the fruit it is not ripened.
His recommendation to vendors is to use commercial ethylene gas in controlled spaces instead of chemical compounds to ripen their fruits. This is because ethylene gas is naturally produced by fruits, making it a safe alternative to help the ripening process. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
More of CVM News at 7 in a moment. exclusive makeup sponsors for this year's MSW events 14-14-14 Mask Wedding. Our talented team of makeup artists will be providing complimentary bridal makeup services for all brides, and we're so excited. So, if you have a wedding coming up, you can find us at leshopcosmetics.com or on Instagram at leshopcosmetics.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
John Mark! Celine, where you going? You can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take on the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah. And the people them accept it. Clarendon, Mandeville. But now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
Cesar Huerta pounces. It's a wonderful finish from Luis Chavez.
Welcome back. We now go to Query This with Natalia Clark.
Officer, that is not a lawful reason to stop me. If you order me, officer, this can be quick and we can go.
And can you step outside the vehicle? Me have a search of the vehicle as well.
Oh, you want to search a vehicle?
Yes.
For what?
Searching for illegal drugs.
Yes. Yes. Can I turn off the engine?
Yeah, you can switch off the engine.
Step out of the vehicle. All right. So you want to search my vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Oh, and you want to see my documents?
Along with the vehicle documents.
And again, are you willing to understand that that's not a lawful reason to stop me?
It's entirely possible you've been pulled over by the police while driving or as a passenger in a vehicle. This scenario is quite common and can happen for various reasons, such as traffic violations, routine checks, suspicion of criminal activity, or safety concerns. Apart from the inconvenience of stopping, especially if you are pressed for time, you may wonder what your rights are if and when this happens. Can an officer demand to search your vehicle? Can they physically search you? How about your property? And can you be arrested for refusing to comply? I'm Natalia Clark, and this week we query this with former policeman turned attorney Donovan Collins.
The police should have a reason, and not just a normal reason. They must have reasonable suspicion to believe that you're either carrying a weapon, an illegal gun in the vehicle, or you have stolen items in there, or dangerous drugs. So there are several legislation, including the Jamaica Constabulary Force Act, which gives the police the power to stop and search.
So it can't just be a random stop?
No, not at all.
I'm just checking every third vehicle to see if I can find a gun, find some weed, find something. They have to have a probable cause for stopping your vehicle and searching your vehicle.
That is so.
He explains, same should be applied if the police wish to search your person or enter and search your property. Without probable cause, reasonable suspicion, or permission, a warrant should be produced.
You should read that warrant, and if possible, take a picture of the warrant. Most times, the complaint is that the police came, licked on your door, them not show them no warrant. But at a later date, a warrant is presented and the police is saying that they actually had a warrant and they showed a warrant. Now I know from my previous occupation of being a member of the Jamaica Constabulary that most times the police don't show any warrant.
In In those cases, he cautions, comply and then complain.
What would be good is if persons can have a discrete recording device that can capture the proceedings, so that if it is that your rights are really breached, then you can now institute a claim against the state.
And how about if something illegal was found from an unlawful search? Can you still be prosecuted?
Even if there is an unlawful search, once something is recovered, then you can go to prison for that still in this jurisdiction.
The attorney, who frequently tackles matters of this nature, says the prevalence of this may be due to the police's desperate need to clamp down on crime. He argues, however, that all parties must be deliberate in knowing and upholding the Constitution of Jamaica. Do you have a legal question? Meeting up on roadblocks when dealing with state agencies? How about issues with a neighbor? Feeling like you're not sure how to handle them? That's when you send me a note at nclark@cvmtv.com to say, query this. I'm Natalia Clark, helping you to get the facts and to be in the know.
I look now at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley and senior World Health officials continue to press for accelerated action against antimicrobial resistance. The calls were amplified during a roundtable at the 77th World Health Assembly. This report from CBC News, Barbados.
Unless we do more, my friends, AMR will cost the world an additional $855 billion annually in extra healthcare costs and lost productivity. As we all strive to do more and better in our response to AMR, it is critical, and I repeat, it is critical for governments to take a whole-of-society approach, considering its impacts, its drivers across the human, animal, agri-food, and environmental sectors. And that is what the Global Leaders Group has tried to do with the quadripartite group that we have. As chair, I am proud of our recent publication of 10 recommendations for member states' consideration to inspire an ambitious and outcome-oriented political declaration.
AMR threatens to unwind a century of medical progress and also threatens animal health, global food production, food security, and the environment.
In Trinidad and Tobago, a retired Commissioner of Prisons is thanked for his tireless efforts and commitment to the advancement of sports inside the prison system, as well as the rehabilitation of inmates. Those programs were continued and built on by the outgoing Acting Commissioner of Prisons. This report from TTT News.
As a founding member of the Prison Sports Club, retired Commissioner Cipriani Batiste was honored for his involvement and contribution to sport within the prison service and for the steps taken to implement restorative justice within the prison. According to the retired Commissioner of Prisons, rehabilitation and restorative justice continues to assist inmates. He believes mutual respect between prison staff and inmates is necessary for this to occur.
I sat as Mr. Minister Hines said, I was the person who chaired a cabinet-appointed committee and bring restorative justice into the prison service.
Meanwhile, Acting Commissioner Deoprasad Ramutar strongly believes that under his tenure, many inmates of the prison system recognized that rehabilitation is possible and can be beneficial for them.
The inmates quickly adopted my styling, or quickly show appreciation for what I was offering to them, which was rehabilitation, but they had to deserve it. I entered into my skill set of understanding people's emotion, and I was able to develop programs, and I said the right things to touch the emotions of the inmates, and they loved that.
And in international news, there has been a new ceasefire proposal for Gaza announced by US President Joe Biden. The details from Al Jazeera.
The proposal lays out 3 phases. The first would last 6 weeks and include a ceasefire and withdrawal of Israeli forces from populated areas of Gaza. It would also include the exchange of Israeli captives for Palestinians held in Israeli jails. In a second phase, Israel and Hamas would work towards a permanent end to hostilities. And the third would involve the reconstruction of Gaza.
This is truly a decisive moment. Israel has made their proposal. Hamas says it wants a ceasefire. This deal is an opportunity to prove whether they really mean it.
Biden described it as an Israeli deal, but a statement from the office of its prime minister says Israel's conditions for ending the war have not changed. The destruction of Hamas's military and governing capabilities, the freeing of all hostages, and ensuring that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel.
And that's it for regional and international news.
And Andrew Laidley now shares our Sunday business feature, Small Biz, Big Dreams.
Keisha Myers has turned her passion for animals into a thriving business known as Fran's Pet. Located in Portmore, St. Catherine, Keisha's journey began 3 years ago when she noticed a gap in the dog grooming sector and decided to do something about it.
I realized the challenge that I was having in getting him groomed. So, I would try different groomers, I would try different places, but I was not satisfied. And with that in mind, I had, a host of things that I thought I could implement in relation to taking care of our dogs and, just teaching persons on how we can go about caring for them better. Fran's Pets and Company was born, it was named after my dog, Franz, which I've owned for over 7 years now. The reason why I started the company was because from I was as young as I could remember, I always had a passion for dogs.
What started as a humble business has now grown into a sought-after destination for pet owners from all over Jamaica.
Many persons have asked me to open a branch in Kingston. I have customers coming in from Mobay. I have customers coming in from Ocho Rios, because when persons come here, I don't just want them to believe like, we're going to cut your dog here and just send them out. So, when they come, I try to have a conversation with them so I can understand the dog's personality. I can understand what they like. I can understand the do's and the don'ts.
But Keisha doesn't run Fran's Pet alone. She has a team of dedicated professionals who assist with the grooming services.
On hand, I have 2 persons here, which is the grooming assistant and the actual head groomer. From time to time, when it gets extremely busy, I will bring in an external groomer, which that person comes, his name is Jermaine, he's from Harris Pet Ambulance. He is an exceptional person. He will come in and ensure that, he also has experience in years. My head groomer also has experience in years of experience with dogs.
Starting a business like Fran's Pet required a significant investment, but Keisha believes it has been worth every penny.
The startup capital for Fran's Pet, to be honest, was about $1.2 million. It was about $1.2 million in putting in the infrastructure in place, buying all the necessary tools that we needed, buying the cages. The cages are exceptionally expensive. The shears are exceptionally expensive.
Keisha's future plans for Fran's Pet include expanding into cat grooming, catering to more four-legged friends in need of pampering.
Many persons have been asking me to do cats, but we haven't got it. Is something that I've considered because, I generally love animals. If I'm supposed to see a cat that is hurt, I'm still going to try to assist. I generally love animals, but the facilities to put in place the separation, because cat and dogs don't really get along. So many persons have asked, and I plan on expanding where I can have a space where I can have cats over here and dogs over here so nobody gets hurt.
Despite the success of Fran's Pet, Keisha faces challenges.
Because dogs are not a part of many persons' day-to-day life. They would just get a dog, but they don't commit to what is required for them to be taken care of. The grooming would have been the last thing that we take into consideration. Oh yeah, I have a dog, they need to get groomed, but I can't put it off till next week, or I can't put it off till next month. So as a result of that, now it causes us to have slow periods, which is understandable, and it has also been challenging for me in order to, pay the bills and, pay the staff and do all of that.
As Keisha continues on her mission to provide exceptional grooming services and educate pet owners, France Pet remains a beacon of care, compassion, and creativity in the heart of Portmore.
I definitely would want to have France Pets being island-wide. My dream is to have a France Pets in every parish of Jamaica, because I have had customers that has come here because they actually cannot believe that there is such a place in Jamaica that is like this.
And it's encouraging to know our children are grasping lessons about integration that are not necessarily found in their school books. Inspire Jamaica captured a moment during a recent assignment that mimics a big screen profile, but for them was a sign of blessings. It's time for Inspire Jamaica with Curlin Brown.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can.
Hang on here.
They want my autograph.
You want your autograph, girl? Sign your name. Something beautiful is happening in grade 2.
This celebrity status bestowed on her by her classmates is so innocent. Unlike the celebrity worship syndrome in the real world, these children are just happy just to see her do a trial run of standing again, even though these legs are not her proper fit. The young ones quickly grasped the reality of a limb without bones.
Sit and tell me what you feel.
It feels so soft.
My name is Jacqueline Carter-Dixon, the principal of St. Benedict's Primary School. Let me change that. The St. Benedict's Primary School, which is the what?
It was just so nice to see you come over and share in this moment with Kamoy and her classmates. Yeah. You ever seen them picnic say so?
Blessing is indeed a blessing. I remember the first day she came to this school, and she was just a bundle of joy. Absolutely beautiful child. And she told me how much she wanted to come to this school because she heard so much about us and she wanted to be a part, and she was all over in my office. And then she paused and she said, I think I need to pray for you now. She took out her rag, had it over her head, and then she led prayer in my office.
It's just so important to have our children accept the other children who don't look like them.
And that's why when you came, you noticed what they said? St. Benedict's Primary School, the best school in the East. Because this speaks not only to the academic performance that we would want them to achieve or have achieved, but just the empathy for each other as classmates and to love, care, and share for each other.
She seems to be the Don of the class.
She's the whole package. She is the life of everything. She does everything with a lot of zeal, and she's full of... There's never a dull moment with her. Never.
You've never had a child who is unable to, walk around and be on wheelchair ride. So how can you adjust now, just in case?
We've never had a child who has been in a wheelchair before, and therefore that's why I partnered with the ministry. I mean, they have spoken about all-inclusive, and this is what we want to include. The facilities, needs some restructuring, ramps, and the hall that is to be renovated, and the classrooms now will all have to take into consideration the conditions needed to facilitate Kamoy. Blessing, as she is so affectionately called.
I love her so much because I said, sister, when you is going to get your food, I want to teach you how to walk. And she's saying, yes, brother. And I love to climb tree with her, but she do not have no food.
Like everyone, her teacher, Menon Samuels, is looking forward to when that changes.
You know for a fact that when Blessing came, our students readily accepted Blessing because of not only the curriculum that's taught, but the hidden curriculum. Our daily devotions add to this, and just the love and care that we show for our students. It passes on, and we're very proud at this moment. Students, I'm proud of you. Give yourselves a round of applause.
The effort, seems to trickle down to just about every